Today from Pauley Pavilion, the third-ranked UCLA Bruins look to stay unbeaten at home as they welcome a familiar foe. Lute Olson and his Arizona Wildcats come in angry, trying to end a two-game losing streak. It's two perennial West Coast powers, Arizona and UCLA, next. Welcome to Los Angeles, California, where this incredible year of Pac-10 basketball on FSN continues. A packed house at Pauley in Westwood, California for number 11, Arizona, and number 3, UCLA. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Marcus Johnson. In the Lute Olson era at Arizona, the Wildcats have never lost 4 straight games to the Bruins. That could happen today. UCLA 10-0 at home, but the Bruins playing without their best rebounder in Luc Richard Mbamute out with a knee injury.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. He's their best frontline defender also, so you need other guys obviously to step up in those areas. But more importantly, Josh Shipp, I believe, is poised, Steve, to have himself a breakout game offensively. Now, he's having himself a fine season, 15 points, 4 rebounds. You can't complain about that. But he is a guy that has the potential to post a 25 to 30-point game. The style of play Arizona, I think, fits right into how he likes to play. He's a terrific guy in terms of nose for the basketball. Now it's a rubber meets the road time for the Arizona Wildcats, and Mustafa Shakur, the chosen one of the top point guards in the country, has got to be the guy to facilitate. Pass the basketball, push the ball in transition, and play tough defense against Darren Collison. We've got 2 of the top 3-point guards of the Pac-10. Aaron Brooks of Oregon is the other one. It should be a great matchup.
And Mustafa said earlier, defense will also be a key. They have to keep UCLA out of those gaps. It's the Bruins hosting the Wildcats. It comes your way next on FSN. A sellout crowd of nearly 13,000 this afternoon at Pauley Pavilion to see Arizona at 13-4 and UCLA at 16-1.
What does that spell? Who are we proud to be?
Well, let's check out the starting 5 for Arizona. All 5 average at least 31 minutes per game. Williams, Budinger, Radinovich combined for 50 points and 21 rebounds. McClellan needs to get hot outside, and Shakur leads the Pac-10 in assists. Their coach went into the College Hall of Fame in 2002. We told you Lute Olson lost 3 in a row to UCLA last year. He's also lost 2 straight conference games and hasn't lost 3 straight since Ronald Reagan was president his first year at Arizona in 1984. The UCLA 5 will see today. Ships back from the hamstring trouble. Aboya will start for Mbamute. Mata provides defense, and Aflalo and Collison could be the best backcourt tandem in the league. The coach, Ben Howland, prides himself on defense. His team's only allowing 60 points per game to their opponents this year. And Marcus, I believe he's got to keep that score down going against this high-flying Arizona Wildcat team.
Transition defense will be a major key for UCLA. They'll send 3 guys back at all times. Not expect to get a whole lot off the offensive glass, even though Aboya and Mata are more than capable of second-chance points inside.
Today's game presented in high definition. UCLA in the brilliant white and Arizona in the navy blue. It's won by Darren Collison for UCLA. Bruins at 5-1, tied for the conference lead with Oregon also at 5 wins and 1 loss, and the Wildcats an amazing 4-3.
Arizona comes out man-to-man defense. Again, that's somewhat of a shock because they played a lot of 2-3, 1-3-1 zones this entire year.
Josh Shipp misses his first 3-point opportunity, and Lorenzo Mata knocked it out of bounds. There's Aaron Aflalo, and Josh Shipp did not play in the victory over USC because of the hamstring, but surprisingly started and played very well on Thursday.
He said he's fine and ready, but I think that man-to-man defense by Lute Olson is kind of a macho mano-a-mano challenge, throwing the gauntlet down to his players.
Good block by Lorenzo Mata into the hands of Collison. He flies down the floor and lays it in. The sophomore from Rancho Cucamonga, Etowah High School, who replaced Jordan Farmar.
Well, penetration, dribble penetration, stopping it has been a problem for the Wildcats in their slump, losing 3 out of 4 games.
Chase Budinger, the fabulous freshman from San Diego, misses, and Aboya with the rebound. Both teams rebound extremely well. Ivan Radinovic will defend that low block against Mata. Here's Aflalo. He hits from the right baseline. Aaron got here 2.5 hours before the game, was working out, and he said he's had the grunge, not a flu, not the cold the last week. Hasn't felt strong against USC and also against Arizona State. So he came early to sweat things out, and he felt much better at the top. And here's Radinovic breaking down that UCLA defense.
It makes Ivan Radinovic so tough. He's a big guy, 6'10", who is highly skilled. The ability to put it on the floor, create his own shot. He's a terrific passer from the high post, and he can step out and knock down a 3-point shot. So he's a tough matchup. Now here's the zone defense I thought we would see at the start of the game. They're back into a 2-3 zone look from Arizona.
They played 70% zone in the loss to Oregon and played mainly man against USC. It was particularly because of the matchups.
Yeah, and USC did a great job penetrating the gap, and so did Oregon against the zone. Nice pass. Got to finish that.
Boy, he is the guy who's starting for the injured Luke Richard and Bamute. And there is Arizona coming up with a big bucket, and it's Shakur, the man that Marcus talked about, leading the way. Skip getting it inside. That's the second time Aboya has had one easy inside, and Skip this time. And here's Williams. Did he travel? Yes, he did.
He's got a problem with his footwork. Got 2 or 3 traveling violations in the USC game. One of the 12 first-half turnovers. But man, could they use Luke Richard and Bamute, his points, his rebounds, but it's the intangibles. It's picking up loose balls. It's deflections of passes that leads to steals.
And it surprised everybody because it was not announced by Ben Howell until late last night. They didn't want to give Arizona any advantages.
It happened about 7:35 left in the first half in their game here against Arizona State. Kind of came down, hyperextended the knee, and you could see him watching it on replay, kind of limping off the floor.
And to tell you how involved Marcus Johnson is in researching talent, he called me about 9 o'clock today and said, Fizz, I found the moment where Luke Richard got hurt.
I thought I'd found religion. I found it, Steve. I found it. Hallelujah. What'd you find? Luke Richard's injury. He's like, oh.
Aflalo with a 3, and UCLA's up 7-4. Aflalo has been averaging 16 points per game this year and hitting 38% from 3 range.
Well, he sweated out all those early bricks out of his system, too, by coming in early.
And Juwan McClellan, they'll need his offense. Yeah. He's now 0 for his last 14 from 3-point range. They want him slashing more. Now he's slashing and missing the shot, but tapping it in.
He's so active, but he's wearing the red bands around the knees that you see Luke Richard and Bamute wears to tell you that tendonitis has reared its ugly head in Juwan McClellan's knees.
Another good pass by Ship is denied, and a strip of Lorenzo Mata. Here is McClellan missing the layup. Mata rebounding.
They just had no lift, no explosion. McClellan on that layup attempt. And you saw Ivan Radinovic and the versatility of the big guy from Arizona. He pushed and passed so smoothly on that play.
Arizona's got to play better defense. You talked about their gap integrity, keeping UCLA out of the gap, but Ship right now is breaking them down and feeding it inside to a dunking Mata.
Nice job by Josh Ship to spin off a contact, and Ivan Radinovic kind of got stuck in no man's land, didn't have contact with this guy, thinking about helping out, but didn't make a commitment to do either one.
Great passing by Budinger. As a matter of fact, Jim Rosborough said this year's team is one of the best passing teams he's ever been around.
I mean, last year, I won't say it was a nightmare, but it was a very, very selfish team in terms of their mental approach to the game. This year, everybody's on the same page. They've got to get back, though, the passion, the defense, the ball movement that led them to that 12-game winning streak.
Aflalo hits his first 2 3-pointers, and he has 8 points. He was 2 for 10 in their victory over Arizona State on Thursday.
Yeah, normally doesn't have a problem getting up for games like this. Arizona State, Oregon State teams like that, sometimes it can come out, but not quite the same type of energy.
Great interior pass from Williams to Radinovic, and the 6'10 postman hits the 3, and Radinovic for 5.
It gives you a nice little inside-outside combination. Marcus Williams can do some damage down in the post, and the double comes. There's Ivan Radinovic.
Okay, a Ship playing really well with the passing game. Here's Mata, has it stripped by Budinger, but a foul may be called against Chase. Got a timeout on the floor. Lorenzo Mata got inside once, but once again, UCLA getting into the defensive gaps of Arizona and flipping it inside to a wide open Lorenzo Mata. Los Angeles, just a few miles away, Westwood, California. Aaron Aflalo told us before the game he's been under the weather, but he looks pretty healthy.
A lot of times when you're feeling a little down, it kind of keeps you honed in terms of mental approach and focus to the game. And he's come out and knocked down his first 3 shots. It's always a great sign for Aaron Aflalo, who is a high-confidence outside shooter.
Well, Darren Collison talking about Aflalo last week when he beat USC on a last-second shot. He said he is the face of the team. And Darren was talking about his competitiveness, his desire, his will to win.
And to show you how much the coaches respect that competitive nature of Aaron Aflalo. He's under the weather, and they still put him on Marcus Williams, the best offensive player in the Pac-10 this season. But he's the kind of guy who loves to step up to those challenges.
Meantime, Lorenzo Mata at the free throw line, just a 32% foul shooter. James Keefe in the game for UCLA, along with Michael Roll.
Yeah, we talked about him watching the ball as opposed to focusing in on the rim, and get a good look at that. With this, almost got a good look at it, but you know, that's part of it. But I think the biggest part is the mental aspect now. He's just in a funk shooting free throws.
Daniel Dillon is in for Chase Budinger, and there's a foul on James Keefe, who got the edge, and Marcus Williams sealed him off and got a great feed inside, so Keefe picks up his first personal.
That's a good sign for Arizona. Now they're sharing the basketball, making the extra pass inside. James Keefe got caught on the switch with Aaron Aflalo. Again, I talked about the no man's land of Ivan Radinovich defensively. You saw James Keefe kind of experiencing the same thing. So James Keefe says, Steve, he's feeling comfortable right now. He feels almost 100% out there in terms of just adapting to the college game, opposed to the high school game that he played in last year. It takes a while for these kids to come in and feel that and make that adjustment.
He was an All-American at Santa Margarita High School down in southern Orange County. Wallow Roll in the backcourt with Collison, and they have Keefe and Mata down low.
Got to attack the zone. You can't become passive. That's one of the problems UCLA had against Arizona State. Every time Darren Collison penetrated against the Sun Devils, the Bruins got something good off of it.
And there's the trap in the corner. They get it to Collison, who throws low. Mata picks it up, and what do we have? A whistle. And our officials today, Vern Harris, Bruce Hicks, and Milt Stowe, 3 excellent Pac-10 officials. It goes against Mustafa Shakur, his first personal foul. Collison trying to enter it, took some time, and they get it to Aflalo out top. He's defended by Shakur.
And with Daniel Dillon on the floor for Arizona, it really amps up their level of defensive intensity.
Aflalo wide open for 3. He misses his first shot. Keefe with the rebound, but brought it down to his hip, where a smaller player was able to rip it free.
Daniel Dillon. Mustafa Shakur, we talked about him in transition. Kind of the engine that makes this team go. And does a nice job after Dillon gets the strip inside here on James Keefe by bringing the ball down, as you mentioned, Steve. And here's Mustafa in the open floor. He's got excellent dribble moves, little crossover left to right, and he does a great job of drawing contact and will oftentimes finish off those shots for and one opportunities from the free throw line.
They had a terrific practice yesterday, led by Shakur, and here's a guy, first 4 games in his career against UCLA, played quite well. Then last year was absolutely miserable, averaging only 4 points per game and shooting just 19%. Ship and a boy on the sideline with Keefe out there, a freshman with sophomore Roll.
UCLA again passive, run Aflalo corner to corner. Getting absolutely nothing now. It's up to Darren Collison. Well, there's a good interior pass that collapses the defense, but a turnover in the process.
And Arizona assistant coach Jim Rosborough told me that the zone defense will take UCLA out of their tempo, and it certainly did on that possession. So Ship and Aboya will go back to the scores table. Here's Marcus Williams. It's blocked by Mata, but Williams gets it back. Williams playing with a wrist problem, did not practice yesterday, got an x-ray. He said it's the left wrist, the non-shooting hand. Radinovich missing, Mata. Swallow almost carried the basketball, then was fouled by Arizona, and Vern Harris makes the call on Daniel Dillon, his first personal.
Arizona did something on that high screen and roll that Arizona State did effectively Thursday night. They extended that high screen and makes it an awful tough recover once the center hedges on the play and then have to try and get back to Ivan Radinovich dead corner. That time Keith switched over from the low side.
Keith can hit that shot, and he nails the three. A big play by the freshman, which may lift his confidence.
The Bruins need to get 20 points, 15 rebounds, or thereabouts, from Alfred Aboya, Lorenzo Mata, and James Keith. They have a great chance to win this game.
Williams banks it up and in. He is so good and so long.
Long and just a lot of offensive savvy. Right? Just great at spinning off of contact, and he extends the ball above his head, which makes it difficult to block. And Mike Roll, 3 inches short, is already at a disadvantage.
Arizona's going through a downtime. They've had 3 losses in their last 4 games. Washington State beat them late. So did Oregon and Aaron Book's miracle at USC on Thursday. Roll chasing it down, taps it, and it's knocked it abound. I believe it was last touched by Jerron McClellan, but they're saying no. It'll be Arizona basketball.
But again, that's the shot you want. Mike Roll with a wide open 20-foot jump shot straight on. You can't get a better shot than that, and it was created by the penetrating the gaps of Darren Collison. The Bruins have got to stay aggressive against this zone defense. Arizona, they've got to keep working Marcus Williams. He's on a nice roll.
Dillon on the drive against Keith, blocked by Keith, picked up by Aboya.
Not a good shot. I mean, he's not the guy. He's not a scorer anyway, Daniel Dillon. You don't want him trying to create offense for himself.
Collison, along with the 3 Dillon rebounds.
You talked about those 3 losses in 4 games for the Wildcats, Steve. This is the perfect scenario to break out of that slump. I mean, you know the energy level here is going to be off the Richter.
Shakur had it stripped and went right to Marcus Williams.
Marcus has got an advantage. He knows it.
Tell you, Keith's defense was pretty good, but Radinovich with a tough offensive rebound. Then Aboya dives on top of him, and they're going to say it is UCLA basketball.
Timeout, Arizona.
Lute Olson. He wants to turn things around. He last lost 3 straight Pac-10 games when we told you Ronald Reagan was president back in '84.
Now there you go again, Steve.
Pretty good imitation. Well, coming up next, we've got Washington and Washington State. That will come your way in most regions. Spencer Hawes against a Washington State Cougar team, 4-2 in league play and 15-3 overall. That will come your way in most regions.
That's going to be a great basketball game. The Huskies and the Cougars, and a lot of people think the Huskies have a pretty good chance to go in there and get one. They haven't played well in Pullman in recent years, but they're a team that's kind of due, the Huskies are.
Well, Arizona, they brought everybody out, including Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, you got to say it twice. One of the most devastating outside shooters in the history of college basketball. Not too bad of a shooter as a professional either for the Chicago Bulls.
Arizona by 1, and Budinger with a turnover. That's a travel.
What's it like that? He's aggressive. You want him to be aggressive. You got to get out of that passivity and get aggressive.
3rd turnover by Lute Olson's Wildcats. We'll be right back. And you have one of the nation's best offenses in Arizona against one of the nation's best defenses in UCLA. The Wildcats can flat score.
I mean, you got 4 guys or 5 guys averaging double figures in this lineup. They had a game against Washington a couple of weeks ago when they had 4 of their 5 starters with 22 points or more. But for the Bruins, I mean, they do a great job of making you work extremely hard to get even a decent look. Not alone a clean look, but just a decent look at the basket.
And Ben Howland said yesterday that Arizona is so hard to defend because they're so athletic and long and so good in transition.
And they got 5 guys on the floor that can make plays, that can put it on the floor in transition or in the half court, pass the basketball, shoot the outside shot. You don't find that in college basketball. It's a rarity.
Russell Westbrook now in the game, manning the point with Collison getting some minutes off. Shot clock down to 5, and there's Westbrook. He misses the shot, but a tough drive he made as he once again got in the gaps of the Arizona defense.
He'll do that. I mean, he's a gapper. You know, he'll fall into the gap. Russell Westbrook is not bashful about looking for his offense. He does a great job also recently of finding open teammates once he does penetrate.
And that last foul went against Marcus Williams.
Right there, I mean, Russell's looking to create off the dribble. Left, cross over right, trying to get into the middle, not looking for his own shot, trying to set up a Flalo, who is very deep right corner.
So Keith will come out, Mata back in, along with Aflalo, Oboya, Westbrook and Ship. Arizona going McClellan, Shakur out top of the zone with Williams, Radinovich, and Budinger on that baseline.
It falls into somewhat of a matchup as you really have to be aware of the wings, Ship and Aflalo.
Oboya got hit, no foul called, and it's ripped down by Budinger, who sends it ahead to Mustafa Shakur. A little bit too much, and UCLA knocks it out of bounds, so it'll be Wildcat basketball with the Cats leading by 1.
Should have been a bounce pass, a little bit too cute, as you talked about on that kind of no-look shovel action that the Bruins did a good job of getting a hand on deflecting out of bounds, but if it was a bounce pass, it would have never been touched.
Oboya will come out, cut on his right elbow, so James Keith will replace him.
It's a great opportunity for James Keith. Luke Richard and Mbamute out with the knee, with the sprained knee. And, you know, he says he's ready. You know, he's done a nice job in practice over the last several weeks. He just needs a little bit more playing time, and he's going to get that today. He's got to take advantage of this opportunity.
And Keith may have an athleticism advantage over Alfred Oboya, the ability to cover the wing, because right now James Keith defending Juwan McClellan.
Yeah, and you know, in terms of just how big he is, he's not as big as Alfred Oboya. He looks like he's comfortable guarding out on the perimeter.
Radinovich missing the 3. Budinger, nice tap in. Boy, he's quick off his feet.
The second hop was the key for Chase Budinger. Kept it alive with the right hand, just kind of got it back up there. Just kind of like a set move in volleyball. And then the second jump was the spike.
This is the end of the floor where Arizona really has to be complete. And they again force the turnover.
Chase Budinger.
But right back to UCLA. Westbrook steals it. There's Ship and Aflalo running that baseline, and Aaron's got 10 now.
And there's Josh Ship, who actually broke up that transition opportunity for Arizona. Just having a great nose for the basketball.
McClellan. You know, he just doesn't have that explosion, Marcus.
He just kind of stumbled and limped his way in off that curl. Great offensive read on the part of Juwan McClellan. You trailed on the screen, you go for the curl, but there's Josh Ship with the tip. Russell Westbrook does a great job pushing it. And then Aaron Aflalo with the left-handed finish, using the basket as a shield.
And this will be the second foul on Lorenzo Mata. As you see Aflalo going inside. He now has 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting from the floor, but Mata may have to take a seat as Oboya's gone back to the scores table. And Juwan McClellan, who's a fine foul shooter at 75%, and as a team, they're just under 75. Meantime, Ben Howland's Bruins only around 65% from the foul line.
Juwan McClellan said he's had a tough collegiate career. A lot of injuries, death of his father, and some problems with academics. He came out of high school with a lot of promise out of Houston, Texas. McClellan did, but because of those things I mentioned, just never has really, I think, shown the type of player that he could have been.
And as Lute Olson has told us, it really limits his practice time, because after a game, he may just sit out and shoot free throws the day after.
UCLA content to pass it around the perimeter. Got to be proactive.
Oregon was able to find those gaps. When they beat Arizona last week, they hit 13 of 26 three-point shots. Shakur comes up with a loose basketball, almost turns it over, and now does.
That's the second time Arizona's made a nice defensive stop and then coughed it back up, trying to get out in transition. Those will come back to hurt you if you're Arizona. Already 5 turnovers for each team.
Ship missing. Williams wants to run. They've got a 3-on-2 break. And they throw it away.
Another opportunity. These are chances for layups at the offensive end. That time Daniel Dillon throwing it behind Mustafa Shakur.
And when Lute Olson got the kids back after losing to USC, he had them sit down and watch the tape. All the coaches left the room, and he said, you guys watch the first half and look at the mistakes you made.
They usually eat pizza after games like that. That night they had turnovers, their own.
12 in the first half, and that's what really angered the coach.
They had more turnovers in a bakery. Wanted him to get it on that way. Get a heaping, helping mouthful of those turnovers.
Roll. Missing the three, and again a boy has been there. He has 2 offensive rebounds in this possession alone.
After giving him nice energy on the offensive glass, I talked about. Well, that would have been, one of the keys coming into the game. Zone rebounding for Arizona. Tougher to rebound out of a zone defense than a man-to-man because you're rebounding in an area.
Will got tied up along the baseline. Lalo almost bails him out, gets tied up as well. Now Aaron throws it away. Bad pass across the court. Williams has it stripped by Collison. The Pac-10 steal leader.
He beat Roadrunner. Nice. Everything but the finish for Darren Collison. Once again, Arizona blows an opportunity in transition.
Marcus Williams missing the 3, but over the back was Aboya, and Dillon went up high, and they got slammed in the back. But Aaron Aflalo with 10 first-half points on 4 of 6 shooting for UCLA has the Bruins within 3 of the number 11 Wildcats. Which team will wind up at the very top? Who knows? By the way, fans, your chance to win tickets to this year's State Farm Pac-10 Women's Tournament in San Jose on March 2nd through the 5th, or the Pacific Life Pac-10 Men's Tournament in LA on March 7th through the 10th is available now. All you have to do is log on to pac10.org for your chance to win today. I mean, it's been crazy. The Pac-10 might be the toughest and deepest conference. Last week was a great example, Marcus. USC, Arizona, Washington State all lost on last-second shots. Aflalo beat the Trojans. Brooks beat Arizona. Goods beat Washington State. What a year.
Yeah, it's been a terrific year. And you mentioned Anthony Goods out of Stafford, 30-point game. But don't sleep on the Cardinal. The Lopez twins, especially Brooke, who was slowed by November back surgery, starting to round out and get himself into better shape. And Anthony Goods, Lawrence Hill, Fred Washington Jr., and then Robin Lopez. It's going to be a tough W up on the farm.
Stanford is at Oregon State today, and then we've got USC at Stanford next Thursday. That should be a great one. UCLA started hot. Arizona's defense has really made a difference late. And roll with a good look, misses.
A lot of it has to do with that zone defense. They started hot. UCLA did when Arizona was in a man-to-man. Once the Wildcats went to the zone, no penetration, no drive in the gap, settling for jump shots contested, and you see the results.
There's Radinovich banging his way in on Aboya, flipping it out to Dillon, wide open for the 3, and he'll knock it down. Boy, that could be a huge lift if Dillon can hit the wide open shot, because they'll give him the room.
Yeah, and nice job with Dillon with the pass fake. Did a pass fake that froze James Keith, gave him a little bit of extra time to look at the basket and knock down the shot.
Hey, tomorrow the NFC, well, let's check that out again.
Pass fake right there, kind of froze Keith, didn't know how to respond in terms of closing out, and it gave Dillon just enough time to get it off and knock it down. And Dillon not noted as an outside shooter, but he has improved that aspect of to his game this season.
Arizona on a 17-5 run their last 9 minutes. Lute Olson, Jim Rosborough, Miles Simon, Josh Pastner, they wanted to see emotion, the passion back, and they've got some Wildcat fans here.
They're playing with some emotion and passion, but for UCLA, I haven't seen that from the Bruins. I mean, I really thought after the Arizona State game, maybe they were looking past the Sun Devils to this game, that they'd come out and play with passion and fire, but I haven't seen that so far in the first half of UCLA. And maybe the zone defense, switching to the zone, has a lot to do with that. The Bruins have had a tough time attacking zones all season long.
Well, they certainly do miss Luke Richard and Mbamute, because Arizona pounding them on the board 17-7, and that's not like the Bruin team. They have won almost every single rebounding battle this year.
But Arizona, even in the midst of their losing streak, they've out-rebounded their opponents. I mean, they too are a very, very good rebounding basketball team.
Ship on the drive, quickly has it knocked away by McClellan, and they say it is a goaltend.
And somebody's got to come out here. I mean, you look at this Bruin team on the floor right now, and there are no well, they don't have a lot of seniors anyway, but in terms of leadership, somebody's got to come out there and kind of take the mantle upon himself to make some things happen. Josh Shipp, nice job working the baseline to get to the basket.
McClellan has it knocked away. Shipp has it. They've got a 4-on-2 break. Shipp gets it over to Collison. Backing out to roll for three. And he hits.
Nice job by Darren Collison making the extra pass. Drew the defender with the shot fake. Got him to commit. Found Roll wide open. The UCLA coaches have talked about that. There's a shot fake. Using that a little bit more. Don't just settle for the three-point shot with a defender closing out. Give him a shot fake. Now all of a sudden you're playing 5 against 4 offensively because you got one defender out of the play.
Shot clock at 8. Radinovich on the pull-up. Way off Williams. He has to put it up. He gets a new 35. Misses the shot. And Marcus Williams really having a tough time from the floor in this game. He was 2 for 7 in the game and had 2 easy shots inside. Meantime, Roll got his left hand jammed, and he's out there midcourt in a little bit of pain.
And you're talking about a left hand, you know, the left wrist of Marcus Williams. He hurt against USC, and that possession there, Steve, he got 2 great offensive rebounds. He was on the left side of the basket. He would normally shoot that with the left hand, but he changed it back to the right, which makes it easier to get to as a shot blocker. And I really believe that wrist, it affects him handling the basketball in full court in transition with his left hand and then finishing around the cup, which he does so well with the left hand.
I mean, he has been magnificent in Pac-10 play, averaging over 23 points per game. They will need a big game from Marcus Williams today. Meantime, Budinger picked up his 2nd personal foul, so he and Radinovich will both sit down, and they bring back to the game Dillon, and they'll also bring in Jordan Hill, a 6'9" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia.
Jordan Hill hasn't played a lot of basketball during his lifetime, but he has a lot of potential. He's raw, but he's quick off his feet, and he's a guy you've got to be aware to keep off the offensive glass because he can finish inside.
McClellan missing. Westbrook high for the rebound.
I like this combination of Westbrook and Collison. That Shipp turns the ball over with the running start on the baseline off the spin, but Shipp and Westbrook, with the Westbrook and Collison, should allow you to penetrate the zone defense of Arizona a bit more effectively.
7th turnover by UCLA. They're on a 7-0 run, and now Arizona can cut into that.
Good matchup defensively for Russell Westbrook, also defending Daniel Dillon, who's not really a major offensive threat, to say the least.
Marcus Williams, so difficult to defend. He's been leading the Pac-10 in scoring this year, averaging 18.5 points per game. Had a career-high 34-point effort against Oregon in the loss in the desert. McClellan again, he cannot explode and gets knocked down. But still, there will be a foul, and it will go against the Arizona Wildcats. But he's just a different player.
Well, just no finish. I mean, just the ability that's a play McClellan, I won't say would have dunked that if healthy, but he would have elevated at least high enough to get the shot off without it being as obstructed and as bothered as it was in that possession.
And that is the 6th team foul on Arizona, 1 more, and UCLA will be shooting 1 plus the penalty.
And Arizona kind of falls into a 1-3-1 zone. Marcus Williams will be the man on the baseline, running side to side, corner to corner.
Good defense by Arizona. Shot clock at 13. Westbrook with the pull-up as he put it to the floor and pulled up.
So all the coaching staff has been asking for their offensive players for UCLA to be aggressive and attacking zone defenses. Don't be worried about missing shots or making mistakes or committing turnovers. Be proactive. Try and do something going to the basket.
Wildcats need a good look here. They've missed their last 5 shots.
Shakur has been really quiet offensively.
And he is long, and it might be against Jordan Hill, who went over the back of a UCLA Bruin to try and get that rebound. And he will get the personal foul. Westbrook, though, the freshman from here in Southern California, with a great pull-up and pulling UCLA to a 26-25 lead. UCLA on a 9-0 run, Marcus, to reclaim the lead.
Did a nice job, and a lot of it's in transition at times. Russell Westbrook, a lot of it off the turnovers also. But again, just trying to operate against this zone, and having Mike Russell Westbrook on the floor gives you two guys who were looking for their shots, to say the least, and that's a good thing.
They're finally able to break down that Arizona tough zone defense. And Aaron Aflalo has not scored in that mix. He's 4 of 6 from the floor, but hit 4 of his first 5 shots. And they've been able to quiet him defensively by rolling that zone defense to his side. Now they'll go with Shipp, Aflalo, Collison, Aboya, and Westbrook. Arizona counters with Radinovich back in the game after getting a cut over his left eye near the eyebrow. Williams, Dylan Shakur, and Jawan McClellan. Alfred Aboya, who got the start over the injured Luc Richard Mbamute, out with the knee strain. Boy, they quieted here when the home team steps to that free throw line.
Alfred Aboya, you lose one Cameroonian, you sub in another one, and he's done a decent job today. Nothing just jaw dropping, eye popping, but he's done a great job rebounding, plugging up the lanes defensively. 8 of the team's 11 rebounds for Alfred Aboya. So check that. He's done an outstanding job. Forget about decent. I knew I liked him out on the floor for some reason. And there it is. A little dribble weave, dribble handoff by Arizona, just trying to look for an opening. They're shooting about 32% for the game.
Shakur, a rare edge he got on Collison, and then Aboya again slid over and accepted the charge.
Certainly did. Did a great job sliding over in his position as a weak side defender. Actually came down from the top. Josh Shipp was the weak side defender who should have been there. Alfred Aboya with the extra hustle gets down from the top, get his feet planted, get in position, pick up the offensive foul. Now, I thought Shakur may have taken off before Aboya was set. But nonetheless, Alfred Aboya gets a nice hand for his yeoman's work at both ends of the floor for UCLA.
He comes out, Keefe back in. Meantime, 3 Wildcats have 2 personal fouls. Hill, Budinger, and now Shakur. So Nick Wise is in the game, and Jim Rosborough said they expected more of Nick Wise, but he has to be better defensively. He's much better in man defense than he is in zone as he makes that adjustment from high school to college. Boy, they've had a load of great point guards in the desert. Guy here, Steve Kerr, he played point a little bit, and then of course that guy Bibby and Reeves and Terry and Gardner and Stoudemire, and now Shakur. Radinovich. Jawan McClellan. What is he? 0 for his last 15 from three-point range?
See, that's a bad decision, I thought, by Ivan Radinovich. It's an unselfish decision, but bad nonetheless. He had like an open 15-footer on the curl, kicks it out to the three-point shot to a guy who's struggling big time.
Collison throws it up. No, but he was bumped by a Wildcat going by.
Arizona goes back to man-to-man defense, and that's a tough matchup for a freshman, even though Collison is only a sophomore. But Collison plays like a senior. And Nick Wise, the way he's built, he's stocky, built like a little bowling ball. I mean, I don't think he has the foot speed out top to stay in front of Darren Collison.
9th team foul, 1 plus the penalty. Coming up on our Acura halftime report, all the great Pac-10 wins this year, some last-second thrillers, first-half analysis, highlights, and stats.
Now, is it me, Steve, or is this game just dripping with intensity? Or?
Oh, love it. I mean, we couldn't wait to get going.
Okay, well, I was saying the other. I thought Arizona, the passion they're playing with, and I just don't. Yeah, they had a team meeting, and then they met and talked about passion and defense, and talked about rebounding and sharing the basketball. I mean, I'm seeing some of that in terms of sharing the basketball, but just the all-out passion. And then playing against UCLA's defense will do that to you also.
Yeah, Jim Rosborough, their assistant coach, he told me yesterday, he told the team, don't get frustrated with the Bruin defense. They bump you, they grab you, they frustrate you, and it seems like Arizona a little frustrated now. Arizona has only made 3 of their last 16 shots, and that is because of that tough, in-your-face, physical defense by the Bruins.
Ben Hollis says everybody accuses me of playing tough East Coast defense. I'm from Santa Barbara. from Goleta.
You know what? Good defense is good defense. Doesn't matter where you are. You just better play it if you're playing for him.
No, and that's where he established his reputation, obviously, at the pit. I mean, he had the players that could do that, just big guys. You got to be physical. You got to bang cuts. You got to rebound the basketball aggressively. Help if you can knock down an outside shot.
Doesn't his face just reek of defense? It's got that intense look
all the time. I mean, his practices, you don't want to slough off. You don't want to joke around. You don't want to take things lightly on any given possession because he will let you know about it.
Although they did have a very light practice. Arizona had a 2-hour intense practice yesterday. UCLA only went for an hour, and it was just a walkthrough, and they also did some free throw shooting.
But his walkthroughs are intense. I've been there.
Yeah.
You've been in that slough off in the walkthrough. You better run.
You better pay attention.
You better run in the walkthrough.
Hey, coming up after this great game, we've got Washington and Washington State. Always a great Big Apple basketball-style shootout.
Now, UCLA trying to flood Josh Shipp kind of in the middle of that zone defense as the conduit, the facilitator to move the basketball. They rotate him in and out. Collison will be in that position.
Aflalo, deep three. He nails it. Give him 13 for the junior All-American candidate.
Kind of a quiet 13. Came out, knocked down his first 3 shots. Was quiet for a stretch of minutes. Did a great job that time. Darren Collison did it, just operating on the left side of the zone.
Nick Wise. Mike Roll with the rebound. Little quick shot by Arizona. That cost them late in the first half against USC.
They're doing a lot of that in this game. A lot of long jump shots. I talked about Radinovich passing up a 15-footer for a 3-pointer by McClellan. Marcus Williams has settled for some 3-point shots with a hand in his face defensively.
Collison, no. Rebounding Marcus Williams. They need Williams' offense. He only has 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting from the floor. Arizona 5 for their first 11, 3 for 17 since. Wise on the drive. That's a blocking foul.
Good call. There's got to be a block. You saw a boy kind of slide into Nick Wise, and I guess Lute Olson. I mean, he's just looking for some energy offensively from his point guard to get in there, do something, make something happen. There's a boy kind of a lean a little to the left, not completely set on the contact.
And this will be the second personal foul on Alfred Aboya.
He's kind of turned his body just ever so slightly. I mean, his feet look like they were pretty set, but you can see his upper body kind of turn in to try and draw the contact from Nick Wise.
He did not play versus Oregon for personal reasons, missed 3 straight games, but back and has had quality practice time this week and played pretty well against USC. Nick Wise, who is a freshman from Kingwood, Texas. Full name is Dominique Giovanni Wise. Pasta man.
Pasta with a little cornbread on the side.
Ooh, that sounds good.
But Nick Wise did a nice job. Gave him a nice little boost now. 6.5. You can't give up the quick shot. They got Dylan on Collison to try and prevent that.
Look at Collison. How did he get coast to coast in 5 seconds? His speed is brilliant, and he breaks down the defense and sends the Bruins to the locker room leading by 6.
You got Dylan, your best on-ball defender, but he was still no match, and that time you needed Dylan did some help from some of those backline defenders because there is no way. You look at Nick, look at Lute. He is just letting Dylan have it, back off, pick him up in midcourt. Don't allow him to penetrate, get all the way down the gut. You see Radinovich there. You see, I think that's McClellan. Nobody slid over into the path of Darren Collison and made him pay for it at halftime.
UCLA, even without Luke Richard Mbamute, holding Arizona to only 29% shooting, and the Bruins lead by 6. Our Acura halftime report comes your way next. Welcome to the Acura halftime report in Los Angeles, California. UCLA, the number 3 team in the nation, leading Arizona 35-29 for much of this year. Arizona and UCLA have been 1 and 2 in the RPI, and you'll keep improving that because every single night in the Pac-10, you're going against a tough foe.
Teams falling in out of the top 25, but for the Pac-10, I mean, we saw some great basketball games. The overtime win, Gabe Pruitt leading his Trojans, and Nick Young, also one of the top performers in the entire Pac-10 for Arizona must stop his try, and then here UCLA able to win this game. But excuse me, Oregon knocking off the #1 ranked Bruins once again at McCourt, and the job Tony Bennett has done at Washington State. The job Trent Johnson's doing, getting his Stanford Cardinal to come around. I mean, just got some great talent. Nick Young, 30 against Arizona in their win at Galen Center.
Well, there's the conference standings as you see 5 teams with 2 or fewer losses. In Arizona, with the top teams in America, they're in 6th place. They're 11th in the nation and 6th in the Pac-10 conference. It's a wonderful year to be part of the Pac-10 conference. We have it on FSN, and today Aaron Aflalo with 13 points, 5 of 7 shooting from the floor, including 3 3-pointers, has the Bruins up. Beautiful day in downtown Los Angeles over at Pauley Pavilion. A lot of activity here at halftime, and then Arizona and UCLA. Bruins by 6 coming up next. John Brockman, Quincy Pondexter, Spencer Hawes, and the Huskies going against WSU. The Cougars and Robbie Cowgill and Derek Lowe. We have 2 great basketball games, UCLA and Arizona, followed by Washington and Washington State from Field Court in Pullman, Washington. Next, Collison to end the half, put the Bruins up by 6. We'll be right back. We have our Acura halftime report here in Los Angeles, where UCLA enjoying a 6-point lead on number 11 Arizona. Steve Physiak along with Marcus Johnson. UCLA's defense so good, holding Arizona, a fine offensive team, to just 28% shooting in that first half.
They've struggled against this tough UCLA defense, but I think Arizona also, I expect Lute Olson to really be getting into them at halftime, because they made some poor decisions. But again, the great UCLA defense will do that to you. For UCLA, I expected Josh Shipp to be a little bit more effective. He's got just 2 points, and Aaron Aflalo has been the man who has been the one that's carried the load.
Yeah, the Bruins have maybe the best backcourt in the league.
Yeah, and Aaron Aflalo started off knocking down his first 3 shots, and it's been a quiet 13 points for Aaron Aflalo. After knocking down those first 3, he was quiet for a stretch, and then came back with a couple of jumpers toward the end. And then for Arizona, not a whole lot of first half offensive highlights. 8 for 28 from the field will do that to you. But Ivan Radinovic shows his versatility for a 6'10" big guy, both inside and out.
And there's the Acura first half stats. Only 28.6 shooting, 29. We'll round it off for Arizona. UCLA shot 48%. But you see the rebounds. Wildcats have the edge, while UCLA came back late because of Boya, who replaced Mbamute with 8 rebounds in the first half. Points off turnovers is hurt Arizona because transition offense is their big key. Here come the Bruins with a 6-point lead. Basketball on FSN. Great game. Number 3 UCLA hosting number 11 Arizona. Here we go, second half. Mustafa Shakur, Ivan Radinovic, Marcus Williams, Chase Buttinger, and Jawan McClellan. 3 keys: Shakur, Williams, McClellan. First half, 3 of 16 shooting from the floor, only 9 points, and Shakur did not score. Meantime, Collison, who has the ball, he and Aflalo combined 7 for 12 for 21 points. And here's Aflalo, give him 15.
Good started, tough check for Jawan McClellan, but Arizona, Lute Olson started out in a horns offensive set. That's horns. When your 2 big guys are kind of high post, they go down and do some stuff for the smaller guys on the baseline, but got nothing out of it.
Shakur 0 of 10, 0 of 2 from the floor, and there's Radinovic trying to tap it to a teammate and successfully does it to Shakur, and Williams goes inside and scores. And for Marcus Williams, only his 3rd field goal in 9 attempts.
That was kind of out of a broken play. Missed the first jumper, got the offensive rebound, and Mustafa Shakur, after a bobble, able to find Marcus Williams kind of lurking along the baseline, so not really out of your offense with that shot generated.
Lorenzo Mata didn't play the final 11 minutes of the first half because of foul trouble, and he bangs one in a la Bill Walton style.
I talked about the bigs having a combined for about 20 points, 15 rebounds. Right now they're at 9 points and 10 rebounds between Mata, Keith, and Aboya.
And Aboya tying his career high with 8 of those rebounds. Here's Williams with an offensive rebound, and then a whistle and a foul called by Milt Stowe.
The Bruins do a great job, and that's one of the reasons why they're so tough to score against. Marcus Williams did a nice job battling for the offensive rebound. And then the two big guys, Mata and Aboya, just pressed their bodies against him. I mean, he could not put it on the floor and get back and get a good look at the basket. They just would not allow that easy second opportunity layup inside for Marcus Williams.
Josh Shipp just picked up his second personal foul. Arizona in more foul danger than UCLA. They have 2 fouls for Budinger, 2 fouls for Shakur, and 2 for Jordan Hill.
I mean, this Arizona team, their first 3 games of Pac-10 play, all over 60%, shooting lights out. The last, or since those first 3, they haven't cracked the 50% mark yet. And I have to believe that the minutes that these starters are logging, no one under 31 minutes, Shakur around 36 minutes, has started to have a negative effect with the wear and tear on their bodies. And
but look at the age. They're 18 to 22 years old. Come on.
I know, but you know, these guys in their minds think they're NBA players already.
Budinger, as a matter of fact, Chase Budinger, who's a freshman, top star, he said he's so glad he only chose one sport.
Yeah.
He was an All-American in volleyball, and he said, you know, I've been frustrated a little lately because I've been fatigued. I'm tired. This guy was All-American in volleyball.
He's 18 years old. Where's he tired from? You know? I mean, 32 minutes a game for Chase Budinger.
Hey, throw him another peanut butter and jelly sandwich and let's go.
Arizona sticking with their zone defense, kind of a 2-3 now, but you better do a better job. Aflalo will burn you from that area of the floor. This is where they need to get Shakur going.
Yeah, they have tied him up tremendously. Marcus Williams, 4-3.
Now they need to get going, and they need Mustafa Shakur. That's why I featured him at the start of the game. He's got to push it. He's got to look to push it, even if he's got a couple of defenders around him. He's a crafty enough ball handler to get through and make some things happen.
Aboya sets his career high 9th rebound and then sticks it back in. The kid's from Cameroon. One's replacing that guy, Luke Richard Mbamute, who's not playing because of the knee problems, and Aboya from Cameroon picks him up.
The prince and the president. But Aboya, just again, yeoman. I mean, that's you talked about that 9th rebound, the 4th offensive rebound, and just out battles Radinovic inside. And he's such a strong physical presence. Aboya, quick off his feet, takes up a lot of space, and does a great job tracking the basketball. Doesn't just wait for it to come down to him. He goes and gets it.
And I was surprised that Ben Howland started him because I thought Arizona's so athletic on the wings, and Aboya was going to have to go out on the floor and defend. Right now, he's defending a low post guy in Radinovic, who can go out and hit the 3.
Well, they had him penciled in to be matched up against a sore-kneed Juwan McClellan, but still, that's a tough matchup, you would think, for an Alfred Aboya at 6'8", about 250 pounds.
They choose their doubles. They help side defense so well. We have a whistle away from the basketball. It may be against Aboya. If it is, it's his 3rd personal foul, and it goes against the sophomore Aboya.
Got into a bit of a tussling match inside with Ivan Radinovic. But, you know, Ben Howland, he just keeps rotating these 3 bigs, too, in this game. Aboya Mata doing the primary, taking up the primary minutes. You still got Ryan Wright available if need be. James Keefe has done a decent job on the floor when he's been called.
And the ball goes out of bounds to UCLA.
Casual pass on the inbounds play by Arizona. And again, this is surprising because you would think after losing to USC, after losing 3 out of 4 Pac-10 games, that this Wildcat team would come in with a little bit more intensity, a little bit more sense of purpose.
Lute Olson said yesterday, the Pac-10 is so good you must play hard every possession or it will burn you. And they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Josh Shipp in the middle of the zone, and not so much to score, but to kind of get it in his hands, put his hands down, look to draw some defenders.
7 in the shot clock, and then it's tapped away by Budinger. Shakur on the drive against Collison, and Collison almost stripped him and knocks it out of bounds. But again, Shakur has been silenced for 24 minutes of this game.
You know, I think it's almost mental with Mustafa Shakur because he was real hesitant about this finish. And, of course, when you got Darren Collison outrunning you as he did, getting back on defense, showing his sprinter speed. But he's just been real tentative with the basketball on his finishes. And he's not normally, hasn't been like that this season. Has been against the Bruins the past 3 games or so.
Shakur now defending Collison.
For Arizona to be successful, Mustafa's got to break through it.
Michael Roll, his second 3 of the game, and UCLA is back up by 7.
Arizona's got to show some efficiency on offense. UCLA threatening to break this thing open, but not yet, says Ivan Mladenovic. Again, the versatility, 6'10", put it on the floor, shield the ball. And that's why so fundamentally sound, Steve. Shield the ball with his body the way he did, and then kiss it softly off the glass.
Well, they have to do a better job from this end of the floor. They're allowing 74 points per game defensively. And Roll hits another 3, and once again, you let him catch, set his feet, and shoot, and he is deadly.
And Mike Roll in this game at least is shooting with a lot of confidence. It's no hesitation, just straight catch and shoot. And a poor closeout by Juwan McClellan with the bad knees. Well, where's Chase Budinger been? I mean, he's giving him very little here. Nice job on the play off the curl, drawing the defender. Nice little hook pass inside to Radinovic.
Budinger, you're right, only has 4 points in the game. Just 2 of 7 shooting from the floor. And this fabulous freshman from San Diego, California, freshman of the year candidate, has been averaging over 15 per game this year, held to just 4 by UCLA's defense. They swing it to Roll again. He's at the middle of that 2-3 zone. And they cut it inside, and Josh Shipp. Boy, their offensive execution has been outstanding the last 3 minutes.
Just driving the gap for UCLA, and you normally would expect it to be Darren Collison or Russell Westbrook who's checking to the game. That time, it's Mike Roll, which I would be upset about if I were Lute Olson, allowing the zone to be ripped to shreds like that.
Right now, Radinovic, he's the senior, playing like a senior.
Yeah, get on my back, boys. I'll carry you for a while until you wake up.
15 now for Ivan Radinovic.
He's driving the gap on the baseline that time. Josh Shipp took advantage of it.
Meantime, Ben Howland saying, Michael, roll your boat ashore. And hallelujah, because he's picking it up. Hitting from outside, passing inside, and Roll has led UCLA to a 6-point lead. Game here in Southern California. Number 3 UCLA leading number 11 Arizona 49-43. We're looking forward to going to Stanford next week. We get to see Anthony Goods, the U.S. Bank Player of the Week.
Anthony Goods, one of the most improved players in the Pac-10, really had the offense clicking last week, and mainly the long ball jump shot over Ivory Clark there. A big shot in their win against Washington State, but he's done a tremendous job, as has Trent Johnson and the whole Stanford team. But congratulations to Anthony Goods, U.S. Bank Player of the Week.
And we've got a chance to see Goods and the Cardinal next week, because FSN will have both USC at Stanford and UCLA at Stanford. Well, UCLA on offense with Collison along with Shipp, Westbrook, Mata, and Roll. Budinger, Shakur, Radinovic, and Williams. You see the leaders in the game.
Arizona sticking with the zone defense, even though Mike Roll has pretty much busted that thing wide open. Lute Olson still showing faith in it, but I guess, well, what's the options? Go to man-to-man when your team is giving up the kind of penetration they're giving up in zone.
Roll, go to the hot man. He misses short this time. Gets his own rebound. Follow your shot.
Shot fake.
And they talked defensively at practice yesterday, did Arizona. Watch Darren Collison. He always gives you the shot fake. Hold down. They lost him. Radinovic outside, who has 15 points, misses the 3. And Arizona has to get back defensively, trailing by 8. Shipp on the drive. Did he hit the end line? I believe he did. And that will be a turnover by UCLA at their 11th of the game.
But Arizona, I mean, they've got to do something. I don't know what exactly. They went to kind of a horn set offense to start the second half off, maybe some high screen and rolls involving Mustafa Shakur with Ivan Radinovich to try and get Mustafa a chance to at least turn the corner. Right now, their offense has been just stagnant. Been nothing.
And they're really a team that has been known for their outstanding runs this year. That 25-0 run, 21-2 against a very good Louisville team. Is that going to be in them against an outstanding defense like UCLA?
And there you saw Lute Olson with a little dribble handoff, kind of cleared out the left side with Chase Budinger. And Chase did a nice job fending off Mike Roll and drawing the foul to get some free throw opportunities. But just again, Lute Olson searching for some answers.
Budinger makes his first foul shot. He's a terrific free throw shooter at 83%, but that's only his 5th point, and this guy has been averaging 15 points per game this year. Budinger drops the second free throw, and Arizona within 6. They need a stop. Arizona has shown they can win at a fast-paced. Marcus scoring 96, beating Washington, 92, beating Michigan. They've showed they can slow it down and win. They beat Texas A&M in the 60s, Washington State in the 50s, USC last week in the 60s. In and out with the 3 is Michael Roll. That's a stop. Let's see if Arizona can come back right here and cut into that 6-point lead.
There's Collison with the long arms disrupting the flow of the offense.
What great defense he has had against Mustafa Shakur. Budinger. Nope with the 3. Westbrook runs it down.
At least some semblance of offense run by Arizona, even though Budinger missed that shot.
With their size advantage, you'd think they'd be able to get down low.
Man-to-man defense from Arizona. With the emphasis on getting the Mike Will on the perimeter, and this is the Bruins' advantage.
Look at that move by Aaron Aflalo.
I mean, just, locating, I won't say mismatch, but locating the advantage. You got the freshman role on an all-Pac-10 performer and Aaron Aflalo. Aaron Aflalo loves to go against freshmen inside or outside.
He now has 17 points. Radinovich squares up on Mata. With the block, but also with the foul, and that will be Lorenzo's 3rd personal foul. So Aboye with 3, and Mata with 3 fouls. But Ben Howland's Bruins playing so well, and defensively holding one of the top offenses in the nation to just 45, led by their junior All-American candidate, Aaron Aflalo with 17. UCLA at home, leading Arizona 53-45. And our TGI Fridays trivia question: Arizona has been to the NCAA tournament for 22 straight years. 2nd loss in NCAA history. Which team has the longest streak? We'll give you the answer later, but could it be the Bruins? I mean, they've won 11 national championships, gone to 16 Final Fours. And Lute Olson, already in the Hall of Fame, is doing a brilliant job. We are surprised, though. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. And if UCLA wins today, it will be the first 4-game win streak over Arizona since Lute Olson's very first year when he took over in 83-84.
Talk about surprise. I picked them to win the Pac-10 at the start of the year. Just looking at the lineup, I thought that they would put on the floor with a healthy Kurt Walters, even though I'm not going to fall back on that as an excuse. But the starters you talked about is Steve, all playing 31, 33, 35 for Shakur, playing a lot of minutes, and it's a real small margin of error. So when Juwan McClellan has the bad knees and can't produce like he normally would, man, it just throws that whole machine off just enough to make this team struggle against some very good Pac-10 basketball squads.
Radinovich making 1 of 2, pulls Arizona to within 7 of UCLA. They need to get it done on this end of the floor, staying in that zone defense.
Interesting look for Lute Olson. Starts out in kind of a 1-3-1 set, and then they kind of morph it into like a 2-3. Wow, a lot of contact, no foul call.
Westbrook, though, misses, and Williams with a rebound. Marcus has been able to rebound the ball well, but just not able to score. He's got 9 rebounds, but only 11 points, and he leads the Pac-10 this year in scoring at over 18. Plenty of time left.
That horn set I talked about. But Russell Westbrook, great job taking Juwan McClellan out of the offense by denying him the pass outside.
Buddinger's the guy they really need to heat up. He can stretch it. And here comes UCLA on a 2-on-1 break. Aflalo missing the shot. Aboya can't follow. And going out of bounds is Radinovich, and they say he was shoved. If that's by Aboya, that will be his 4th personal foul.
Two big guys get tangled up inside. I thought the Bruins didn't do as good a job executing that 2-on-1 as they could have. Aaron Aflalo kind of loses his footing as he tries to explode up for the reverse layup, and then Aboya, a lot of contact inside on his layup miss. But you gotta make those plays with a 7-point lead, and still a lot of time left to be played in this game.
So Aboya goes out with 4 fouls, and Mata back in. He has 3 personals. James Keefe, a freshman, has given them quality minutes as well. Budinger defended by Aflalo. Radinovich inside on Mata, trying to get that 4th foul. Instead, partially blocked by Lorenzo. Arizona switching to a man defense, and they break it down. Mata has it stripped and loses the basketball, and Ben Howland's complaining for a foul.
This game has been full of contact that hasn't been called, so no surprise to me that contact not called a foul on the play.
UCLA's only loss this year at number 17 Oregon by only 2 points.
Once again, Aaron Aflalo, teary-eyed after that game, said, "I will never let it happen again, that I don't take the ball in my hands and take the big shot."
And Aflalo makes the big shot here with 9.5 to play, putting UCLA up by 9 points. He's got 19. Last week, he took that big shot and beat USC.
Now, this shot ain't quite as big as that shot against USC, but it is still it's an important shot because UCLA's offense had bogged down a little bit the last 3 or 4 minutes, and that's a good job, Aaron Aflalo. Great footwork, a little jab with the left foot, and then a step through, draw the contact, and you can see the strength of his upper body. A little bit of contact is not going to deter him.
He told us he wasn't feeling well, wanted to sweat out the grunge that he was feeling before the game, and he has just played a terrific game offensively and defensively. He's been chasing Budinger around. He's been chasing Marcus Williams or Shakur at times. Aflalo is just a gamer, and he is the warrior of this UCLA team.
I'll tell you, Steve, during my career, I've had some of my best games with the bug, down with the flu, because you don't waste any energy. Everything is real efficient.
Shot clock down to 5. Shakur. That's his first field goal of this game.
And that's a shock. I mean, I had all my notes ready to talk about his improved outside shooting and working with a personal shooting coach back in Philadelphia, and haven't been able to use any of it.
But he hasn't had too many open shots.
Well, the Bruins have stymied him. They've done a nice job keeping him out of transition, keeping him in front of him.
And Aflalo has been terrific, although his layup is a little bit too high. Still, the Bruins will have it.
But you like, again, going toward the basket, not just settling for long jump shots, continuing to attack. See if Arizona stays in this man-to-man defense.
Michael Roll missing the 3, had to take a quick shot because the shot clock was down. Here's Daniel Dillon on the drive, makes the shot on a wraparound, and all of a sudden Arizona within 5.
Hey, you know, a couple of layups for Arizona, a couple of missed opportunities for UCLA. And the Wildcats back into their zone. UCLA getting a mixture of defenses almost each and every possession.
Yeah, the plus for the Wildcats is that they're within 5 with 4 games from Williams, McClellan, and Shakur. Well, you were talking about at the beginning of the game UCLA's ability to get into the gaps of Arizona's defense. They have done it throughout this game.
Done a nice job of it too, and by different players. Josh Shipp on a couple of occasions. Russell Westbrook has done a fine job. Darren Collison, kind of the obvious guy, but even Michael Rowe a couple of times put his head down and found Josh Shipp kind of slinking along the baseline.
And that last foul went against Marcus Williams. He picked up his 3rd personal foul, sending Josh Shipp to the free throw line.
But it's something the coaching staff worked on extensively after the Arizona State game, and just attacking and being more aggressive and looking to make things happen and not worrying about making a mistake or missing a shot. Staying proactive.
UCLA always in that man defense. Down low, Juwan McClellan.
A little bit more pep in McClellan's step, even though that finish is way short.
Somehow Collison's speed runs it down. Westbrook got bumped. It may have been against Chase Budinger. If it is Chase Budinger's third personal foul. Arizona, though, puzzled, contending with UCLA's defense. Shakur, though, finally made a field goal on this drive and has the Cats within 6. 6 of UCLA. They have tradition. Lute Olson has taken these Wildcats to 4 Final Fours. And our trivia question brought to you by TGI Fridays. Arizona has been to the NCAA tournament for 22 straight years under Lute. Second longest in NCAA history. Which team has the longest streak? And the answer is North Carolina. 27 consecutive years.
An amazing streak.
UCLA is up there with their run with Marcus Johnson, helping this Bruin team win a national championship in 1975. Lute Olson, national championship in 1997. Miles Simon, who's right next to his side, was the hero of that team, winning the MVP in that tournament. Final Four. He's an assistant coach for the Wildcats now. Arizona back into the zone with Dillon and Mustafa Shakur out top.
If the Bruins offensively can continue to generate good shots, they flood middle and then vacate. It's either Flalo or Westbrook or Collison or Ship that would go right near the free throw line and then vacate and look for an opening.
This guy has been amazing this year. Aaron Aflalo into the teeth of the defense. Shot clock winding down to 5. His pull-up gives him 21 points.
Nice job by Aaron Aflalo. Again, gets the contact. So much upper body strength that a little bit of defensive resistance by Chase Budinger actually steadies him and gets him straight for the release.
And he has had some of his best games in his career against these Wildcats. He has only averaged 21 points per game against the Wildcats in the last 2 years, including career high 27 last year.
You can tell Lute Olson's first advantage, a totally new offensive set that he's running with these Arizona Wildcats. All the years I've been covering them, I've never seen him do this before.
UCLA beating Arizona at their own game, the fast break. It's a 10-point lead.
We saw at the end of halftime, Darren Collison allowed to just go coast to coast from one end to another without nary a defender stepping in his path.
Marcus Williams missing completely. Budinger picks him up. But Arizona has been completely stymied in this game. I mean, we told you at the start, they're the 3rd leading scoring team in America. 85 points per game. And they have been held to 52 by UCLA's defense.
52, and their field goal percentage is way down. It was under 30% at halftime, and probably not much higher right now.
This is what they did last year against Memphis and LSU in that NCAA tournament. They forced those 2 great teams to play at their pace, and Arizona has been forced to play at the Bruin pace. Much more comfortable for UCLA, and they have an 8-point lead, and they've moved it down to 4 seconds again. Here's Russell Westbrook missing the 3, but got a pretty good look.
And there you saw what's kind of epitomized with the approach of Arizona today. You had Marcus Williams and Budinger, I believe. Neither guy tracking the ball. Neither guy pursuing the basketball aggressively.
Radinovich.
I mean, Radinovich is showing up today. I mean, he's been the one guy you can't look at and say, well, he didn't bring it. But these other guys, Shakur, Marcus Williams, Chase Budinger, Juwan McClellan, we know he has the bad knees, but what they brought offensively in terms of energy has just been severely lacking, and they're still only down 6.
But Ivan Radinovich has been a big man for Arizona. He has scored 18 points and helped Lute Olson's Wildcats pull within 6 points of UCLA. Number 3 UCLA had a 10-point lead, but Ivan Radinovich has helped cut it to 6 points.
And he's one of the reasons why Arizona's up that field goal percentage from 28 to 36 here so far in this game, and done a little bit of everything. Been the recipient of some good passing inside from his teammates and out. As Shakur and Chase Budinger do a good job of finding the big guy. And again, he's been here. He's been present. 18, 7 for 13 from the field, 7 rebounds, and a nice job in all facets. Been tough to score, gets inside.
Drew Olson said he's one of the most improved players he's ever seen from his first year. Again, he came from Serbia, Montenegro, and playing for Arizona right away.
He came in late that year, too. Came in December, I remember that year. Just got off the plane shooting the basketball.
17 in his first game.
Just shooting it. And with guys like Hassan Adams and Salim Stoudemire and Chris Rogers, they wasn't having it.
When will Arizona come out of this zone and play man defense with the clock really becoming a factor? Roll.
Shot fake.
A 2 for Michael Roll, and he has really broken their backs off the bench with 11 points.
Another terrific shot fake employed by UCLA offensively. We've seen it from Collison. That time Mike Roll, the defender, overcommitting, worrying about the three-point shot. Gives you a lot more time to relax and bury it.
You think they'll come out of that zone soon?
Well, I mean, 8-point deficit, so a lot of time left to be played. They don't have to at this point. I mean, they could stay in the zone a couple of more possessions. But once again, the shot fake by Mike Roll. You're going to see it here. The extra pass from Aflalo, and just a little glimpse, a little eyebrow fake gets Daniel Dillon out of position and just opens things up for Mike Roll.
So Ivan Radinovich will go to the foul line, where in Pac-10 play he has made 31 of 32 this season coming into the ball. He missed one earlier, 3 for 4 in this game. Still over 90% in Pac-10 play.
You know, he does a great job of, he does a great job, you can see him from this angle, of getting that right elbow over the right knee, kind of shifts his body to the left to make it happen. You see a little slight shift there with that elbow. Right there, cocks it right over the right knee, gets perfect alignment with the basket.
20 points for Ivan Radinovich. His better games, and he is a huge reason Arizona's even within clawing distance of UCLA.
Here's a man-to-man. They're out of it.
Switch the zone to the man, and Aflalo gets over to Collison. Aaron Aflalo with 21 points. Darren Collison. Man, they break you down, get into those gaps. Collison with 14. And UCLA takes a timeout with 3 minutes and 49 seconds left.
Yeah, that was all Darren Collison off the dribble, taking Mustafa Shakur, trying to establish the fact that I'm the best point guard in the Pac-10 this season. Aaron Brooks has a lot to say about that, but a nice job by Collison. Just a little bit of a fade to create some space and got the friendly roll off the soft rim.
Well, this Pac-10 conference has been the premier conference this year in exciting games. We've got one here at Pauley Pavilion, and coming up next, we'll go to the Apple Cup, Washington style, in basketball with Washington and Washington State. Spencer Hawes, a fabulous freshman for the Huskies. In Washington State, they have so many good players and one of the best defenses in America. But for Ben Howland, you see what he has done at Pauley Pavilion. Won 9 games in 03-04, and then won 12, 14, and 10 and 0 at Pauley this year. And I tell you, things looked a little dire when Mbamute wasn't going to get the start, but Aboya really picked him up, and UCLA with a 6-point lead.
They looked that way when Josh Shipp went down with the hamstring, and they were able to kind of pick up the slack against USC and get the contributions from the ones they needed to get in order to pull that one out. So, I mean, again, the depth of this team coming through.
UCLA gets the steal. Collison ahead to Shipp. He throws it down, and the Bruins go up by 10.
That's poor transition defense. You bobble a basketball on the sideline, and still no one hustles back to pick up Josh Shipp. Not a real positive sign for Arizona at this stage of the game or season.
Good defense has absolutely frustrated Arizona today. A traveling violation against Marcus Williams. Can you believe this? Lute Olson. He has never lost 4 straight against the Bruins since his first year. He's in danger today at Pauley Pavilion. The Bruins 66. The Wildcats 56. Collison with his 7th assist, and Shipp throws it down for a 10-point UCLA lead. UCLA's defense has been outstanding and beating Arizona at their game, the speed game in transition. And the speed game comes to Fox as February 18th, the world's best drivers return to Fox to go door to door to see who will take home the checkered flag in the 49th running of the Great American Race. Beginning February 18th, Fox Sports is the exclusive home of the Daytona 500. That guy, he runs like the Daytona 500.
Yeah, he surely does. Darren Collison, and you see the matchup.
I mean, it has been an absolute mismatch. Collison to Flalo, 35 points. Great shooting to the floor. Shakur and McClellan only 8 on 2 of 12.
Not totally unexpected from McClellan because of the knees and how poorly he shot the basketball recently. But I thought Shakur would come in and play a much better basketball. I thought he was ready to break out of that slump that plagued him from last year.
Josh Shipp floating inside, scores! What a powerful move by the junior Josh Shipp. Shakur with his second layup. They have been all inside. He has 6 points now.
As you like to say, Steve, you got to do it at this end of the floor. When you're still looking at a 10-point deficit, you got to get you some stops. Not contact, no foul, but as I said, I mean, that's been the way this game has been called the entire afternoon, so it's no surprise.
It almost favors UCLA because they like the bump and grind style.
Well, the Pac-10 has gone to more bump and grind, and the officials are obliging. You remember the days when they were trying to clean up the Pac-10 and make it a softer, gentler league and all that nonsense.
Shipp missing the 3, and they can't get it off the top. It never hit iron. But you know what? Ben Howland brought Big East style. But you know what? He was playing Big East style at Northern Arizona. I remember he was assistant coach at UC Santa Barbara. He had Jerry Pym playing that tough in-your-face bump style.
And then Herb Sendek comes in from North Carolina State. Arizona State plays more of a half-court offensive type of system. Tony Bennett, like his dad Dick Bennett up at Washington State, playing that same style of basketball. And Trent Johnson, I mean, they're not gunning up at Stanford with the 2 7-footers in the lineup. So, I mean, the face of the Pac-10 has kind of turned to be more defensive-minded, which I think will bode well in terms of success in postseason.
Well, the fans thought he slowed things down too much when he first came here, but that was the style. Those were the athletes he had. Only won 11 games. Next year, 18. The fans said, oh, this guy can coach. And then he won 32 and took him to the national championship game last year. This guy has always been able to coach, but he takes the athletes he has and makes them better. His first year when they won 11 games, I remember him telling me the 2 things we need, leadership and toughness. He has it now.
And just kind of setting the tone that first year in terms of how he wanted his team. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, Mr. Buttinger.
Where's he been?
Nice to meet you. Finally. Well, breakdown. Oh.
Okay, you had a boy wide open. And here's a Flalo. Flalo's going, hey, we got the clock. There's no reason to throw it length of the court. That's a good decision.
And a boy didn't have the surest hands in America either. So it's not a given he's going to catch and finish that play with Marcus Williams coming down defensively, applying some pressure. A good move by Aaron Aflalo. Oh, that was wicked.
It sure was.
Didn't finish off the play, but he crossed him and then went back behind, through his legs, and just didn't finish off the play.
It's a little Nate Archibald back in UTEP days.
Yeah, buddy. Got a little mano-a-mano right there. You know, they got him down the middle, and there's Ivan Radinovich thwarting the layup attempt inside.
UCLA was down a bit to Arizona in the first half. Then they took control and they lead by 8 points and have the basketball. Arizona must foul, and they finally do. It's from Mustafa Shakur. But the Bruins have already knocked off number 20 Kentucky this year, number 19 Georgia Tech, number 6 Texas A&M, number 14 Washington. And Marcus, what's been so impressive the last week, they beat USC without Josh Shipp and they are beating Arizona without Luke Richard and Bamute, their top rebounder.
And I'll tell you, even more impressive to me watching the USC game, the big shot by Gabe Pruitt right in front of us that knocked down a three-pointer. Nick Young's 4-point play. I mean, a lot of times those are just too much to overcome psychologically, but the Bruins just kept battling back. Collison makes a big play. Aaron Aflalo with the game winner.
And that great backcourt led by Aaron Aflalo, who has 21 points. We go with Darren Collison, who not only has 7 assists, but 14 points. Another terrific game for the guy who had replaced Jordan Farmar, who's off to the NBA and Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, as of this afternoon, UCLA is still the standard, I think.
Isn't that what Marcus Williams said before losing 3 of the last 4? He said, UCLA isn't the standard, we're the standard.
The Bruins would have to be considered still the standard right now.
Ooh, and boy, it goes down hard.
Taking Mustafa Shakur with him. And this is what I thought Shakur should have been doing a lot more of the entire game. Just going in there and reckless abandon, throwing his body around, drawing some fouls, getting to the free throw line. Collison, for the most part, that possession being the exception, for the most part, did a nice job keeping Shakur in front of him.
Well, for much of this year, you've got 2 teams with the top RPI, ratings percentage index. Arizona was 1, UCLA was 2, but UCLA might be number 1 on the other RPI, which is rebound and play intense. They have played that way today, and they have a 6-point lead with 38.9 seconds over the number 11 team in the nation, Arizona. And remember, coming up next, we've got Washington and Washington State for most of our regions. And the Cougars have a record this year of 15-3 and 4-2 in conference play, tied with USC and California for 2nd place in the league. And Washington, although a surprising 11-6 and only 1-5, it's going to be a great game in Pullman. Arizona, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games by a total of 13 points after winning the previous 12. And they're playing so well, beating Illinois, Louisville, Memphis, Washington by 9, and then the tough times. And Marcus, I really think it starts with their defense.
Yeah, it does too, but we talked about the starters and the minutes they've logged, the lack of production from their bench, but because of the schedule, that's why they're number 2 in RPI. They play a tough schedule, so you got a lot of close games, so you don't have a chance to have the blowout wins and the cupcakes where you can play some of these guys on the bench and get them some practical experience during game-type situations, and I think that's hurt them also.
And they will have Arizona State coming up on Wednesday, then North Carolina next Saturday as they welcome in Roy Williams. FSN, of course, has that great ACC Pac-10 marriage and 2 of the top basketball conferences you can watch on FSN. And then they will host Washington State and Washington. And remember, they lost to the Cougars by just 4 points in overtime earlier this year when they could not close it out in Pullman. Aaron Aflalo at the line.
Came down and it came back 5 points down in the last 35 seconds to force it into overtime. We were at the airport listening to it via webcast, keeping up with that game, but did not finish off the deal, the Wildcats.
Shakur getting it inside, and McClellan drops it in. Makes the basket, has a chance for 3.
We're doing all this talking, and Arizona's creeping to within a possible 3-point deficit here with enough time to make some things happen. Nice job, Shakur, on the spin move, and finally Juwan McClellan gets to finish off a play inside and just keep moving without the basketball, finding the open spot.
Juwan McClellan has a chance to make it a 1-possession game. He does, and this is where it gets really critical. UCLA is not a great foul shooting team, only 65% this year. Ben Howland calls the timeout. He is Lorenzo Mata on the bench, who is his worst foul shooter, and will have his best foul shooters out there, although Aflalo has missed the last 2 front end of the 1-and-1. That cost USC last week in their loss to the Bruins at the Galen Center.
Yeah, and also what SC did, they employed that intentional foul strategy against Lorenzo Mata, who missed 3 out of 4 free throws down the stretch. So talk to the officials before this game, and that's something that they've been made aware of. And when you foul away from the basketball in this kind of a situation, the guy is not part of the play, They're going to call an intentional foul. I think they feel like they missed those opportunities in that USC-UCLA game last week.
Arizona on a 9-0 run, the last 152 to cut it to 3. UCLA has only made 7 of 14 foul shots, and they've only made 1 of their last 6. There's the Cat run.
And you don't have the luxury of being overly selective. First guy to kind of get his hands on the basketball, you got to go ahead and grab.
They get it into Michael Roll. Good foul shooter. Gets fouled. Michael Roll, the sophomore from Laguna Niguel. He will head to the free throw line. He has only been to the line twice coming into this game. Made both of those.
That's an amazing stat for the amount of minutes that he's logged, but that tells you that he likes to sit beyond that three-point line and just cast the long jump shots. But a little pressure attached to these free throws here.
He gets the second one, 3 for 3 this year, and now a 4-point lead. The one guy Arizona wants to foul is Alfred Aboy. He's only a 54% foul shooter.
If there was ever a guy you're going to intentional foul with this lineup on the floor for UCLA.
That's getting it done. Michael Roll with a brilliant game, 13 points. He and Aboy have been terrific, replacing Luke Richard Mbamute, who did not play because of the injured knee. And Roll gives UCLA a 5-point lead with 25.2 seconds left. We've got a time on the floor. UCLA trying to stretch the record to 17-1 this year and 11-0 at home. UCLA had been the #1 team in the nation for 6 straight weeks, their longest stretch in 73-74. Then they lost by 2 points to Oregon, fell to #4. They're back to #3 and beating the #11 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats, without Luke Richard Mbamute, their fabulous sophomore rebounder. Came in averaging 8 and had 14 rebounds in the last game. A victory over Arizona State, but hyperextended his knee in the game and did not play 1 second.
Arizona, #11 in name only, or number only, is the loss to USC will drop them down further. But if they can somehow find a way to pull this thing out here today, they don't really need a 3-point shot in this situation. You got to keep going to the basket, though. Hope to get fouled, stop the clock.
Great defense by Collison. Shakur knocks him down, and they call a blocking foul on Darren Collison.
That's a tough one. I mean, knee-jerk reactions. Well, he wasn't set, but you don't have to be set. You're allowed a normal guarding position, and normally when you get the numbers in front of the offensive players and he hits you square in the chest like that, you pick up an offensive foul, but not the case today.
Shakur drops the free throw. Mustafa only with 9 points. He's made all 5 of his free throw attempts.
Well, let me get this in while I can, because I expected to talk a lot more about Shakur, but his form has changed significantly, and one of the reasons Jerry West, when he had his tryout with the Memphis Grizzlies, suggested that he extend the ball over his head, align his elbows with that right knee, and really focus on follow through and putting a smoothness to his shot, and Mustafa's done that. UCLA again just trying to inbound the ball. Arizona first got to catch it, you got to grab.
Again, a 1-possession game. A Ship will inbound, and they try and keep it going. There's the foul on Alfred Aboy.
Last guy in the world you want to try and get it to. Josh Ship looks at Aaron Aflalo and Derek Collins and says, hey, he's the only guy that was coming to the basketball. The other guys got to move.
That is the 10th personal foul. 10 team fouls now on Arizona, so it will be a double bonus situation. 2 shots for Aboya, who is a 54% foul shooter.
A major upgrade over Lorenzo Mata.
Now, in that situation, and Ben Howland's one of the best coaches in America, why not have Aboya inbound the ball?
Well, now
Ship makes better decisions.
You're worried about Padilla. Oh.
Let's go to this free throw.
Yeah, let's go to this free throw and passing. You're worried about passing, but he's got his form. Look at his form. He's got great form, just great knee bend, good rotation, elbows pointed where it's supposed to be.
What? Straight in or straight up?
UCLA by 5 as Aboya calmly drops him through. The boys of the sophomore from Cameroon, 8,000 miles from home. No bigger free throws in his UCLA career. 17 seconds left in this ball game. Number 3 UCLA leading Arizona by 5 points. It'll be Arizona basketball. Both teams have 10 team fouls, so it is a 2-shot opportunity for both. The Boya will defend the inbound passer, Ivan Radinovich.
I love the strategy by Ben Holland. It does it all the time. Puts a full-court pressure on your opponent. Just run some time off the clock. Don't make it easy for them to score at the other end.
And Shakur misses the easy 2, which could cut it to 3, and that is like a dagger to the heart of Arizona. They trail by 5 with Aaron Aflalo at the free throw line for 2 shots.
As the home crowd heads to the exits, but I mean, Lute Olson talking to Mustafa Shakur, you could not have asked for a better shot, and that's a 4-point play. But in that situation, Mustafa just point blank off the spin, couldn't get the friendly roll off the rim, and Aaron Aflalo can seal the deal, pretty much knock it down 2 here.
Lute Olson last lost 3 straight Pac-10 games in 1984 when he lost to Stanford, Washington, and Oregon State. It could be 3 straight as Aflalo has missed 3 of his last 4 foul shots. Williams up the floor taking the 3. Missing. Shakur's there to drop it in with 0.6 seconds left. It's a 4-point game, and UCLA just needs to really inbound and win it. They do, and the game is over, and the Bruins run the record to 17-1 with a 73-69 victory over Arizona. It's the first 4-game win streak over Arizona by UCLA since Lute Olson took over in the 1983-84 season.
Once again, Steve, done with the defense. UCLA's defense did a nice job controlling both Marcus Williams, Mustafa Shakur, and that was the big key for the Bruins here this afternoon.
So for Marcus Johnson, I'm Steve Pizioc from Pauley Pavilion in Westwood, where the Bruins remain up in the Pac-10 race with a record of 6-1. Most of you will see Washington State coming up next. Have a great day, everyone.